Facebook Live. Facebook Live has started.
All right.
And we'll be live on air shortly.
We're not going to even talk about all the firecrackers of it. I digress.
Most of the day around 90 and light southeast winds. There might be a stray shower thunderstorm tonight, partly cloudy in the low 70s. You'll be up around 92 degrees Thursday, partly sunny, 50% coverage of showers and thunderstorms once again.
We're back for part 2, you all.
It's rain on Friday. Jonesboro's community radio station working FM.
From Pizza Story News in London, I'm Ollie Barrett. Sydney's extended its COVID-19 lockdown for another week due to an outbreak of the Delta variant. A Dutch crime journalist is fighting for his life after being shot.
The Delta variant ain't playing.
The government prepares to roll back.
Yeah, our number up to 150.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we've gotten down to about 50. Now it's up to 150.
150
Cases,
150.
150 cases in Craighead County. So get the vaccine, folks.
Well, I'm thanking God that I have mine. Because I probably would have it by now.
Yeah, you were very social, Lexi. Y'all don't have to worry about me staying in the house. That's all I need to hear. Something else is going around.
Arkansas gas prices rose a penny in the past week, according to gas.
All right. Inside the news, and then we'll be ready to get started.
81 cents. That's 6.3 cents higher than a month ago, and 94.4 cents a gallon higher than a year ago. The national average price remained unchanged at $3 per gallon. Two new businesses had a soft grand opening over the 4th of July weekend in Jonesboro. Wally Gourmet Popsicle and Campfire were both opened in the city after a year of struggling during the pandemic. You've been listening to UIN Local, one national news and information on about people of color. It's available on our webpage at myuin.net.
It's 9:03. JOEK-LP Jonesboro, Voice of Arkansas Minority Advocacy Council. It's now time for Community Conversations, a program focusing on the people working to make the Jonesboro community a better place while offering viewpoints on all sides of the issues. Views expressed in this program are those of the participants and do not necessarily reflect the views of KLPK 102.5 FM.
KLK 102.5 FM. Good morning to you on your Wednesday. It's the first Wednesday of July 7th, 2021. This is Community Conversations. Kid Wonder is here with you, joined by Quabila Jones, host of Community Conversations. And as I mentioned, this is the first Wednesday of the month, so that means we have back with us Jonesboro Police Chief Rick Elliott, and it's always a pleasure to have Chief Elliott with us. So we're not going to waste any more time. So, Chief, what's the latest?
Well, hey, it's we got through the holiday weekend. It was quite busy weekend. Nothing too eventful, but with 2 fireworks shows over the weekend. A lot of things going on in Jonesboro. A lot of people in town. Just glad to get out and been locked up past year. So both events went without any issues. So we were pleased for that. But there was a lot of traffic in Jonesboro, and so that's a good thing. It's good that there's a lot of things, activities going on. It's bad if you're stuck in traffic trying to get out on these events, but it happens. But overall, we've been pretty steady at the police department. This month there been a few things taking place throughout the city, but it's part of what we face day in and day out. Just you never know in this job, from one moment to the next, how things may develop.
And Chief, I believe that we have some new officers either currently undergoing training, or about to hit the streets.
Well, they're actually in the basic academy. We're hosting our own in-house academy, so it's 16 weeks, and it's about their third week of the academy, and so they got a little ways to go, but we're trying to get them in and out, and time they get finished with everything, we're looking at October, November for they'll actually be on their own out on the street.
Now, when JPD hosts the in-house academy, do you ever teach any classes or do any guest spots?
I always step in, check on them, and see how things are going. I am a certified instructor, but generally I don't pick up a class and teach. Now some of the other admin will, but I always try to get by and let them know who I am and let them know where I stand in life on their conduct and what I expect of them as an officer.
Of course, they got to hear from the boss man.
Exactly. I have high expectations of my officers, and if you don't meet those expectations, then I'll get rid of you.
All right, Quabela.
Well, I didn't want to make the questions too heavy, but since you mentioned that, there's been more things in the news concerning officers, not Jonesboro, but
I think we're kind of losing you, Q. Let me.
that there's okay. Oh, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can now. It kind of cut out for a little bit.
Okay, sorry. I was going to ask. We've seen some things in the news, and I know there haven't been in Jonesboro, but again, do you take the opportunity to speak to your officers about, what has been happening? There was an unfortunate event in Lonoke County. There have been other incidents, different states. Just not going to go through each and every one, but
sure.
Again, do you take those opportunities to talk to your officers about, please not let this happen here? Like, how do you address that?
Well, I can't get around to all 160 something officers, obviously, but through the command staff meetings, well, we have a staff meeting every Tuesday, and as these things come up, we kind of highlight them and look at them and see if there's anything that that we need to change, or then address those issues that we see across the nation. And so yeah, the general consensus is the officers see these same things, and they learn also from watching the news that, hey, this doesn't look good, this isn't right. So all these events, there's training opportunities and learning opportunities on expectations, and so you never miss an opportunity to take a look at that situation and hopefully take something away from it and make a positive out of it.
Okay. All right. So switching gears to light things up. We know that the officers or the police department in general is trying to be more engaged with the community. And so you all are continuing this series of books, officers reading to the children. So tell us how that is going.
Yeah, we've had a lot of good response from Reading with the Blue. I started the series out a few weeks ago, and then Assistant Chief and then some other officers are reading. So it's kind of a summer reading program that we do. We generally, I think, they're posting on Sunday night. So kids can sit back and hopefully with the family and read, but it gives a chance for the kids to see the other side of the officers, that we're here to help and serve you, and not everything is negative the way the news portrays police sometimes. So we have to show the positive sides, do it our way to get that message out. But overall, I think the program's been a success. We've had a lot of good feedback, and I think it's something we'll probably do next year also.
So how are the kids chosen for reading? Do y'all partner with local schools, or do y'all just have kids come to the police department?
No, we filmed this series at the library. So there was a series of books that were picked out. A lot of them had police related topics. Then the library had to get clearance from the publisher for us to video and then air this video utilizing this book. So there's a lot of things that went on in the background before we could even uh, air this video. But again, in conjunction with the library, I think the series went well.
Alrighty. Well,
And I think
hopefully,
that's also, go ahead.
no, I'm sorry.
I think that's important, partnering with the library, that's just another relationship that the police department is making you strengthen those bonds in the community.
Right.
And hopefully, as we move forward, I know we don't know what public safety is going to be like in the upcoming months, but it would be nice if there could be some in person, like a few, children and officer gathered. It was recorded and uploaded. But again, public health safety comes first. So
Right. Well, as COVID has kind of wound down, we're trying to get some of our community activities back up. Of course, this is one way of doing it is by this means, but then we've been out in some of the local cleanups. There's been some officers visiting some daycares. Uh, so Officer Seaborn, Officer Racy, they're hitting some of these summer programs at daycares and things like that. So they're making those connections. This fall, of course, we got our Citizen Police Academy. We just graduated 19 last Thursday. We'll run a fall session, probably starting somewhere maybe the end of August. And so we've already taken applications for that next session. So kind of a plug for that. If anybody's interested in participating in the class, you can go to our website and fill out the application.
Okay.
Moving forward, we got trunk or treat. We started kind of planning on that. I was telling Leganzi in the earlier show that I think this year we're going to look at Allen Park. That's a different section of the community that we've not had an event in. But on the back side of that park, in that big field, I think we can really spread out, and with our bouncy houses and Leganzi set up, and we can maybe do more events and spread the officers and the cars out even more, and maybe get some more activities, than what we've had. We kind of outgrew that section of block up there at Cedar Heights, which that area I think was a great area. We had a great participation from the surrounding that area, but we'll try something different this time again. Want to get in various sections of the town as much as we can. So we looked at that. We looked at the west end, but I think Allen Park itself has got a great location for hosting this. There's plenty of parking and plenty of room. And looking at the neighborhood, it's the walkability to the event. It would be very easy.
And definitely looking forward to the next trunk or treat. Always so much fun.
Yep.
And hopefully there will be other organizations that may be willing to partner with you, especially those that need service hours. Something I thought it out there. If you or your organization has members that need service hours, come on out. And would you be willing to sign something, Chief, if that is the case?
Yeah, for service hours.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely. We'd love to have anybody that wants to come in, and help out on this event. These been big events, and the more people we can get out to help and do things for these kids, I think the better off we are. We want the event to be a big success, which they always have been, but we just strive, for bigger and better. So I'll leave that up to Leganzi to come up with some creative dance offs and things like that.
Well, shout out to our girl SD. I'm gonna bring SD with us. She's the line dance queen, so she'll definitely come up with some good line dance contests.
Yeah, well, I got one of my new officers. He had a little dance video going a few weeks ago. So,
Well, of course, one thing we do have to do, I always love seeing Sergeant Waterworth challenging the kids to jump rope and beat most of them.
yeah,
There's usually at least one that'll get him, but it's always
Right.
cute that he can beat about 90% of them.
right, yeah. So, that's just good fun interaction, and that's the officers love doing that, and hopefully the kids like it. But it builds those bonds and builds a little bit of trust. So again, we're looking forward to that. The date has not been set yet, but hopefully by the next session, we should have a date set and time set on trunk or treat. National Night Out, that's another community event. There's different block parties throughout the city. That's typically the first Tuesday of October.
Okay.
So I know Dr. Coleman will have an event at Fisher Street, and there's usually something on the east side of town. The West End Association, they'll have something at Cobra House in Cherry Park, usually a big event down there. So we leave that up to each areas of town to put together their own event. And I'll generally have officers stationed at all those areas so they can interact with the public. But the neighborhood associations or groups, they'll generally cook dogs and burgers and things like that for the people to come to. But again, it's just another good event for people to get to know their neighbors and people that live around them. And then, of course, have the interaction with city officials. Our councilman and the mayor, they always try to split up and make these events just so they can get out and meet with the public. So, that,
All right.
that's also-
And we're speaking with Jonesboro Police Chief Rick Elliott. Let's go to our Facebook comments. Let's see, we have Regina Waxter and Shanquetta Cunningham are checking in on our live feed. Robert Dwayne says, good morning, Cato Q and the Chief. And
Yeah.
Shanquetta says, good morning, all. Regina Waxter says you need to hire more police. Well, trust me, if anybody probably wants more officers, it's Chief Elliott, but people do have to apply. But what kind of just kind of let them know for those that may want to apply what they have to do.
Right. Now, one, you can go to our website and look at the qualifications, but you need to be 21 years of age, not have a felony record. There's a set of physical requirements. You have to be able to pass a physical test, a written test, drug screen, psychological test, and a polygraph test. So if you meet those basic qualifications, then we encourage you to apply. This job is, you're not coming into it for the money, but you come into it with a passion to serve your community.
And along those lines, Chief, I wanted to kind of pick up on this. So the Jonesboro Fire Department has actually lowered their age to 18. We've got PSAs running around the clock,
Right.
along with the JPD PSAs running. Do you think, or do you even think it should get to a point to where one day police may have to lower the age to 18?
Well, by law,
Like the fire department.
yeah, no, we cannot. I can hire somebody at the age of 20 and let them start the academy, but before they hit the streets, they have to be 21.
So part two of that, if it was possible to change that, would you be in favor of it, or do you think it's better off leaving it at 21?
Well, it depends on the individual. I mean, we send 18-year-old young adults across seas to fight our wars, So could it be possible here? Well, absolutely, but but as it stands now, the law is they have to be 21.
I would like to think from a psychological standpoint that even 21 is young, but just because of the development of the brain development of individuals. But again, it is an individual case. But I think 21, it should stay at 21. I mean, if it was ever up for argument. 18-year-old, they're fresh out of high school or whatever the case, and they're still finding themselves.
Okay, so, again, on the other hand, you look at our military. There's a lot of them go straight into
no,
the military, and they find themselves very quickly.
yeah, and I know that's another discussion, but that
It is.
could possibly use some adjustment as well. But anyway, I digress. Um, want to move on. So we know that we just had 4th of July, and so even though you all put out a message concerning fireworks, people still did what they wanted to do. Did you have to answer a lot of calls?
Yeah, yeah, we always get firework calls and complaints, and you know, we have other calls, so those are low priority calls, and it, we can say don't shoot all you want, it's illegal all you want, but the bottom line is, you stand back and get a overview of the city, find a vantage point or a high point, and it's a big show of fireworks from one end of town to the other. So um, people,
Overall,
in spite of what the law says. So I think, it may be time to look at that ordinance and make some changes, uh, to make it something where we can enforce, may have a shut off time of, 10 o'clock at night or something, uh, but I do know that, the calls we get, sometimes people have post-traumatic stress, and the fireworks can be upsetting to them. People that have pets become afraid and scared, and it's upsetting to them. And of course, if your pet's upset, then the owner's upset, and tempers get short sometimes. But it, some of these fireworks have gotten very big and loud. Other than your basic firecrackers, you don't see a lot of firecrackers. That most of them are a lot of these big rockets and big mortars, and they're extremely loud and powerful. So I think that causes the biggest complaints. That sound like you got an artillery show going off, in your neighborhood.
so what message would
Well,
you?
we got
Oh,
about a minute left.
okay. So what message would you like to send to the community? Out of courtesy and safety.
Well, just out of courtesy and safety of others, that try to find an area that discharge your fireworks that may not be bothering others. But
Okay. Well, thank you, Chief McGinty.
And of course, at least for Juneteenth next year, we're kind of working on possibly providing something like that for people, and that could, extend to July 4th next year as well. But that's in the very, very, very beginning stages. So just have to stay tuned to see what can be put together. But we are speaking with Jonesboro Police Chief Rick Elliott. We're going to get ready to go into our break. For those listening on air, the conversation will continue on our Facebook Live. So stay tuned. You're listening to KLEK 102.5 FM. Got a couple more people on the live feed. Let's see, Regina Wax. No, I already shut out Regina Wax. Marcia Thomas. Well, welcome to our live feed.
So, Chief, oh, what? Was someone going to say something?
no, go ahead.
No, I was saying I wanted to give a shout out to one of your officer or patrolmen, Zach McQuay, who was part of a film, or a part, yes, a video discussing safety measures. We didn't discuss that before, so can you tell us a little more about that?
On what now?
Okay, Patrolman Zach McQuay started his ship. Anyway, he was filmed for video presentation for Burlington Northern Santa Fe, the railroad. Basically for the safety measures that were demonstrated in March of 2020 when the tornado came through.
Right.
So can you tell us more about that?
Well, Burlington came in and was doing a PSA, and they wanted one of the officers. So McQuay happened to be the right place, the right time, and we, let him engage with the film crew.
So do they have to get special permission, like for anyone that's doing any type of PSA or something that's going to be publicly displayed? Do they have to get your direct permission?
Generally, everything is scheduled with Sally, and Sally gives me heads up on what's going on. So, 99.9% of these, it's never an issue.
Okay.
I encourage officers to, do things like that. I think it just shows different people, department engaging. It's not me all the time on video. Some chiefs and sheriffs, if something's going to be made, a statement or something's going to be done on behalf of the department, they're always the one doing it. But I feel that these officers need to engage also. And some of them are shy and, leery about public speaking, but you know what? They do well, and it's good for them. And it's good to show that, there are many faces within an agency and not just the chief or the sheriff. But obviously critical incidents I'll do, but some of these other things encourage other officers to get involved.
All right. Another, I guess, funny story. There was a video posted of an officer delivering DoorDash.
Right.
How did that happen?
Let's say that before we come back on.
Okay.
Which we got about less than a minute.
Okay.
Okay. We'll save that one. I thought that was the most hilarious thing. And I'm sure the people were like, what? Because the last thing you want is an officer showing up at your door unannounced.
Yeah, I'm sure that person was probably freaked out until they say, here's your food.
Yeah, here's food. Your driver got detained.
Oh, God.
I'm wondering just what the driver got detained for.
You have to tell us off air, off the record.
I have not even read the report. I just looked at the posting and.
Well, I'm just interested. So we got about a few seconds, so stand by. And we're back on Community Conversations with our guest, Jonesboro Police Chief Rick Elliott.
All right, so before we came back on air, we were having a lighthearted conversation about a recent video that was posted on the JPD's Facebook page where an officer went above and beyond the call of duty and might be looking for a second job. So tell us about that, Chief.
Yeah, one of our officers encountered a DoorDash delivery driver and subsequently placed the driver under arrest. But he didn't want to deprive the person that had ordered the food of their not getting their food. So he went above and beyond the call of duty and finished dropping off the food delivery to that individual. Of course, it's
That
all
was
like him, but that was just something kind of self-initiated by the officer that, felt that, that person was, waiting on the food and he wanted to go and complete the delivery. But it just shows that, these officers, they go above and beyond the call of duty many times, and a lot of it is never really known or recognized, or it doesn't show up on video. But this is just typical of, what happens day in and day out. Not to this extreme, but there are times they do get out and do the little things and help the community, changing tires and helping people change tires, things like that. So boosting cars off, people lock their keys in the cars, and so you don't hear about a lot of that stuff.
Well, I would just like to encourage the community. If you see an officer doing something, above and beyond, doing something nice, engaging with the community in a positive manner, please share those stories with JPD. I'm sure they would love to hear, those stories about their officers. I shared something with you, and I won't go into full detail about all of the information I shared, but, one of your officers, Sadie, McGee, she went above and beyond at our Juneteenth event and just definitely want to give her a shout out publicly. We had two children who got separated, and so you can imagine how frantic that was, with a lot of different people moving around, and the kids are lost, and so like, okay, but she stepped in and saved. I don't think saved the day so much, but she stepped in without question. So.
Yeah. Sadie's fairly new. She came to us from working at Batesville PD, and she said one of the biggest things that attracted her to Jonesboro was, one, she lived here, was born and raised here, but wanted to move back home. But two, that we were so much more involved in community outreach projects than they were over there, and she just loves working and then getting out and engaging in the community. So as these projects come up throughout this summer and this fall, I'm sure Sadie will be, well engaged, because she'll typically volunteer for these things, and she just loves doing it. And as you can see at the event the other day, she's out playing with the kids on the court, and she's talking to not only the kids but to the adults, and then just people working. She just kind of worked the whole crowd, and she just said she just loves doing that. So I just, I commend her, and she's a very outgoing young lady, but that's just her on the job every day. She gets out and helps the community, all she can, but during her in between calls, she's trying to engage somebody, just to have a little bit of contact and make a positive impact.
Well, I would say after that day, her and I have become, I guess, say friends, even though she's the age of my child.
Yeah.
So I guess her surrogate mama
Right.
to her. But I really appreciate her service. So thank you
Oh,
for bringing her on.
Thank you for your kind note on that. It's always good to hear positive things about what the officers are doing day in and day out.
Thank you. So, again, do you have anything you want to add, or?
I just want to echo. I mean, she was there when I first got there. She helped unload the toys. She helped the basketball team get the toys set up. Pretty much, anything that she even helped. St. Paul, St. Paul AME were out there. They were giving away furniture and other household items to the community, and she helped them with their stuff as well. So like I told Chief, definitely when KLEK has an event, we definitely want her to be a part of it. So keep her on the permanent request list.
Got her down.
Alrighty. All right. So, have there been any other departmental changes? Any trainings? I know we talk all the time about mental health issues and officers engaging with different clinicians around town.
Right.
Any updates or any changes in that department?
We actually have a CIT class scheduled for this fall. So additional officers will be going, along with the 10 officers that we have in our basic class. They'll be attending this 40-hour session also. So probably after this session, we'll have another 15, maybe 20 officers trained. So that would put us probably around 40 or so.
Okay.
So that's pretty good shape. Mental health across the country is a huge problem. Looking at our calls over the past year, the calls of people threatening suicide or contemplating suicide have gone up. So that's concerning that, there's people suffering and not getting the help that they may need. And, I guess my message to them is, folks, there's crisis helplines out there. Reach out. There's suicide prevention hotlines for the veterans. There's many different organizations and hotlines. If you're in a mental state of crisis, please reach out to somebody and get help. There's better ways to resolve this issue than taking your life. But
most definitely.
yeah,
So I just,
we have to work through these from time to time. And, it's sad. It's just a sad situation for the family and friends of those, that are impacted. And but it just, all that being said, I think that, there's a lot of people that's in a dark place, and it may be due to COVID being locked up or, restricted for this period of time, or maybe some other things going on. I don't know. That's not my area of expertise, but I can look at the call volume and go say there is definitely a problem. And as we said before, mental health crisis across this country, it's a crisis because there's just not enough funding to deal with it. There's not enough resources to get the people, get the help that they need all the time.
Mhm.
You can get them in for a counseling session, but sometimes people need, long-term, long care treatment, and there's just not enough resources. And I think that, you know, the state and the country, they need to step up and look at that and put more funding toward, helping people.
Most definitely, I would like to see. I mean, again, I'm not boots on the ground, so I don't know what's all happening behind the scenes. But from conversations I have with other people, I'm not gonna say it's not enough. I'm just gonna say I would like to see more
Yes.
engagement with our state officials and the powers that be to ensure that each county or each department gets the help that they need or gets the funding at least they need, because you have to have salary for these people. And sometimes each organization, each entity is already overstrained with the few staff members they have. And they need to bring someone new in that can fill just specific spots. But you got to be able to pay those people. So,
Absolutely. So, yeah, it's a problem. And like you said, we need to keep the pressure on our legislators to keep moving forward in a positive direction.
most definitely. All right. So, you mentioned the academy. Now, what about, we know there was a CPA class in progress. So, how is that going, or what is the status of that?
Well, we actually graduated our 11th session of CPA last Thursday night. We had 19 to finish the program.
Okay.
We started out with about 23, and we had a few to drop out. I think some of them may come back, jump back in, but they had to leave for various reasons, and that happens. But this great bunch of folks in this class, they all had a great time. And like I said, uh, the fall session of CPA, the dates should be announced pretty soon, and but we're already starting to take applications. So
Okay.
people are excited to kind of get out and get back involved in CPA. The class had a great time; they enjoyed it, um, and they're looking forward to coming back as ambassadors and continue to work with the department. So uh, at this point, we've graduated probably over, I think we've made it over 350 people
Okay.
in these classes. So that's a lot of people that's gone through. And the program has been a huge success. So we're excited that we're back on track with it.
Alrighty. Now I know, of course, the fire department is a whole different entity. However, you all work together in some cases. Have you ever had a talk with Chief Miller or the other chiefs concerning the fire department doing something similar? I don't know how that would look for them due to, of course, the complexities of the job. But have you
Yeah.
ever just entertained that idea?
I've not talked to Chief Miller at the fire department about something like that. I don't have not. Now, a couple of years ago, Mayor Perrin had a similar project at City Hall
Okay.
and kind of had a curriculum set up where different department heads come in. So people had an overall view of how the city
Okay.
operated. So it's kind of the same concept, but that that only happened once, maybe twice over there. And of course, COVID hit and that all shut down too. So now we have a different mayor and different administration. But
Okay.
Mayor Copenhagen has started a city youth council, and
Okay.
had a big meeting last week, and all the directors came in and we talked to this group about what we do, and so that's going to be interesting. This committee, this group of young adults, they're on board for the whole year. So I
Okay.
think over 40 of them, and most of them are junior, senior level high school kids, but they have a curriculum set up throughout the year, and then they'll have opportunities to engage in different departments throughout the community. So we're eager to see what bring them to the PD, and what they have in mind as far as community outreach from their perspective, fighting crime, things like that. So, young minds are very creative, and so we're eager to tap into their creativity and see what they can come up with.
Okay. As you're talking, I'm always thinking outside the box.
Sure.
And Mackenzie, how much time we have? I want to make sure. Anyway, I was thinking about, of course, this will be next year, a year or so down the line. Um, Kind of like you remember those old school field days, from elementary school where the three-legged race, tug of war, things of
Yeah.
that nature. Having something similar, but with emergency services,
Right.
have a few like find a big field if A State will let us use football field. um and just have different stations set up so people can engage with emergency services and maybe have a few obstacle course. I don't know, something that's community based. So that way people get to know what each department does, who they are, and hopefully people start applying for these jobs and fill in these spaces to help make their communities great.
Right. Well, at trunk or treat, that may be some additional activities we could add to that event. Again, we got a large area over at that park, and we may be able to get into some sack races and some different things. And uh, so the fire department's always participated in trunk or treat. They enjoy getting out also. So
Okay.
I think that's a good point. I think something like that, it would be fun and funny. And somebody's going to fall, and
Okay.
it's going to get
Um,
comfortable. But I think that may be a good activity.
set up the big tractor tires and the big heavy ropes, or I don't know, just and yeah, I think anything fun and engaging is
Sure.
what makes each event, that much better. And everyone walks away with memories. And
Sure.
hopefully we start looking out. I don't know. I'm always thinking about how can we engage and how can we start looking out for each other
Right.
again to create this community minded atmosphere,
Right.
to want to do better by each other. But that's neither here nor there. Okay, Mackenzie.
I like the idea for doing the field day, some of the field day activities during the trunk or treat. In fact, during the last one, we sort of kind of did that on a smaller scale, as I mentioned earlier, with the Sergeant Waterworth and the jump rope. And then, of course, I think kids like had a basketball goal set out there. So, incorporating those physical activities. And of course, the kids obviously love the bounce house. And, I would like, and I know, typically Space Walk donates the bounce houses, but I would love to see maybe some sponsors to get, even the more complex game, maybe like the water slides and things like that.
Right.
So, well, y'all work on that, and I'll support any way possible. But want to say thank you though, Chief, for all that y'all do for the community and what you have done, and then what you've done for us with Kelly K. Anytime we ask for anything, you all step in. You're right there, so we appreciate you
Well,
all very
I
much.
appreciate y'all, and I appreciate Kelly K. And when Kelly K started, I appreciated being invited to one of the first community conversations, and I thought what a great platform to engage the community, and that's why I wanted to continue to do this show every month, because it is a good opportunity to get out and engage the community, and I just feel it's very important. And so I appreciate y'all allowing me this opportunity to come on and do this every month.
And we appreciate you having this. Something that I say all the time has been one of the great success stories of KLEK.
Okay, sorry. All right, so any updates with any of the K? Now I love the dogs. I know they're working, but any updates with any of the K9s and their officers?
They're all doing about the same right now. It's uh, not really anything new. They still do their trainings, and um, no new dogs. Everything's kind of just moving right along.
Alrighty. Again, we would love to hear from you, the community. Um, what would you like to, I'm not gonna see, not from the police department, how would you like to engage with them? I mean, you all do as much as you can, but if someone has an activity, an event, please reach out to the
Sure.
police department. Sure, they'll be more than happy to send someone to come and
We have,
speak or,
we have Community Outreach Division. Sergeant Shay Racy heads that division. And so, again, if anybody has any kind of community event that you want officers involved, contact Sergeant Racy and Community Outreach and get that scheduled. Give us plenty of time, because sometimes there's many things that are going on. We find somebody to work that event. It's hard to do last minute, so we need as far enough notice as we can get.
okay. So on another lighter note, I see a post about some officers receiving letters from the Foundational Arts. Tell us more about that engagement.
Well, actually,
Well,
we're gonna actually,
go
Chief,
ahead.
we're
Oh,
gonna have to do that on the other side of the break, because
okay.
we are getting ready to go into our second break. We're speaking with Jonesboro Police Chief Rick Elliott. The conversation will continue on our Facebook Live. You're listening to KLEK 102.5 FM. All righty.
Okay. Their names are not listed, just their pictures.
Right. Yeah. From We can bring it up here again after break, but no, time to time, people, kids, adults, they'll bring cards or letters or poster boards of thank yous by the PD. So anytime that happens, we always want to, bring them and get a picture made, and thanking them for their support. So
Okay.
these are posted from time to time when somebody shows up, and we always want to grab a picture and say thanks. We appreciate the support.
Okay. And so another, I guess, more lighthearted. I mean, still serious, but lighthearted in the sense of the picture. I don't know if Sally posted this, the picture of the truck, and they said, "I'm already prepared for the feedback," basically, because the picture was super blurry. Not laughing at the damage they did, but still the comments about the picture was
Yeah,
what hilarious.
yeah. Well, I mean, that's well, cameras. I don't think it's our cameras, Burlington camera, but I have no control over the quality of somebody else's camera. But the fact of the matter is that there was damage committed, and the person just kept on going. So we want to make them accountable for tearing up something.
And one
That's
thing
right.
people have to also realize, your average security camera that's going to be in your home or business, the quality, is not going to be good, because if you were to get like 4K and all these fancy cameras that would have the super high resolution, your average homeowner or business would struggle to afford it. So, I mean, these cameras, because we have some here at the studio. I mean, yeah, they're good up close, but when you get to a distance, it kind of loses a bit, and that just kind of balancing out price versus functionality. Can't everybody afford a camera that may cost a couple grand a piece, for their home or their business?
Right.
But it's still better than having nothing.
Right. Well, at least we, had enough that, eventually, somebody take long. Somebody come up with the name of the company name on the truck. So that's kind of what we do. If, a lot of times we can get video that's not the best in the world, but, enough people that that follow us on Facebook, they can put the pieces of the puzzle together for us. Last year we had about 170 cases solved with just doing what we just did.
Wow. And that's
So
what it means to be a community, to come together and
it
look
does.
out for each other.
Yeah, well, it is. It just community engagement and involvement, and it just helps us do our job, make our community a little bit better place.
We talk about this all the time too. And maybe now in the summer, um, be more mindful when you're out and about.
10
A lot of
seconds, y'all.
okay, people are out in crowds now. Hold your kids tighter, hold your belongings tighter. I mean, just whatever. Like, and look out for something
And
that
here
could
we
be
go.
going on. Okay.
And we're back on Community Conversations with our guest, Jonesboro Police Chief Rick Elliott. This is our final segment. The hour has gone by fast. Kubila.
Okay. Sorry, y'all. We were just talking about safety measures to take, this summer, just beyond, just every day, all day. It doesn't matter what season it is. Be safe, be mindful. And Chief, I'll let you do it because you can say it better than anybody.
Well, absolutely. If we are coming out of the pandemic and people are starting to get out and be engaged more in our community, shopping and out dining, whatever, just as you say, be mindful and respectful of others. And, if we just did that across this country, the world would be a much better place. Be respectful of each other, be mindful of each other, and be patient. There's a lot of traffic in Jonesboro. We have a lot of people visiting here. So, let's treat our visitors with respect. We want them to come back and spend their dollars here. And uh, so, be patient going down the road and be respectful.
I apologize. Speaker going off in another room. Um, yeah, so again, and we've been still seeing reports about distracted drivers. There have been some one vehicle accidents. And so I don't know all the details about those accidents, but still be mindful when you're in your car that text can wait. Um, Everything can wait till you get to a stop. We come to a stop.
Right. Our accident rates have really gone up, and so we're looking at a couple of campaigns of really cracking down on distracted driving. So here in the near future, we're going to be running marked, unmarked cars and bringing officers in to do nothing but distracted driving enforcement. So heads up, we're going to crack down on it.
Alrighty then. Well, in this, I don't know how many minutes we have left in this last segment. Any final announcements? Any words? Anything we didn't cover you would like to cover?
No, I think we covered a lot of things during
Got about
this
4 minutes left.
during this segment. Some of the community outreach projects that we have on schedule that are coming up for the year. Of course, our popsicles at summertime, so officers are back handing popsicles out throughout the community. Um, Again, if you have an event that you would like officers to participate in, reach out to our community outreach department. The summer and the fall looks like it's going to be a busy fall season. We got ASU with a couple major football games coming up this year, and we expect big crowds. We've got new coach, new athletic director. So I think we're going to have a huge football season, and so we're excited about that. But a lot of things going on. Concerts are being scheduled at the First National Bank Arena. So I think as we start to move forward, people are ready to engage. But if you have not had your COVID shot, I'd also stress at this point, please go out and take the shot. Our COVID numbers in Craig County have actually risen. We're about 150 active cases, and we had
Wow.
got down to about 50. So the numbers are going back up, and we don't want to get back to a critical level. Well, that shot does make a difference, and it does help control the spread of COVID and some of its variants. So if you've not gotten a shot, uh, please reconsider that and try to go out and get a shot, because we don't need another shutdown. But we do want everybody to be healthy and stay healthy. And COVID has had a very devastating impact on this country. And I think everybody knows personally somebody that was affected by COVID or may have had a loved one lost by COVID. So uh, it was just a bad situation. It was a tough year for all of us, but we certainly don't want to get there again. And we can prevent that by getting vaccinated.
Definitely. I know there are other things that are going around, like the flu, colds, things of that nature. So just for all of it, if you practice safety measures for yourself, hopefully that will prevent other people from getting sick as well. So let's just, again, another way to look out for each other. Take care of yourself.
Absolutely. Sanitizing hands, that should never stop. It should always go on from here on, because as you say, the cold and flu season, they'll be back around before we know it. And last year, record low on flu because everybody was really conscientious about sanitizing and wearing masks, things like that. So we really need to stay with those good habits and not get away from those, and disinfecting and surfaces and things like that. It just creates better health for all of us.
That's right. So,
Not just COVID.
amen. All right. Well, we thank you so much, Chief. I don't know how much time we have. I'm not looking at the screen, but
We're inside of our last 2.5 minutes.
ready. So again, you all stay tuned for updates coming about trunk or treat and other community activities that JPD will be participating in. Go and support the officers that read the books for the children. Show them some love. It takes a lot for some people to actually do stuff on camera. So I want to say thank y'all for that and partnering with the library. And if you have any book ideas, I'm sure they'll be happy to, check those out and get the permission needed to read those. Thank you for the cops on the bikes and motorcycles and passing out popsicles and taking care of the community, giving out teddy bears and blankets and diapers and, all those things. Oh, one more thing. Car seats, 0 tolerance. You will get a ticket. So no excuses.
No excuses.
The JPD, you have officers who are trained to install car seats.
We do.
So if you have a baby, toddler, put them in a car seat, go to JPD, schedule something with them to get it put in properly.
Absolutely.
The drop-off box for medication. So I'll post about that.
Yes. Those prescription meds, don't throw in the trash can, don't flush down the toilet. We do have a drop-off box here at the curb on Caraway Road. You pull into our driveway, it's just right there. Medications only, no needles, no old clothing or anything like that. Just you use medications, and over the years we've been taking anywhere from 12 to 1,800 pounds of meds a year out of that box, and DEA comes in and picks them up and destroys it. So people are utilizing the box. We certainly appreciate it, but again, that's a safe way to dispose of meds.
All righty then. Thank you,
Chief. We're gonna have to leave it there. We definitely appreciate you for stopping by as always, and definitely looking forward to continuing the partnership with the Jonesboro Police Department. This is All Gospel Wednesday. We have great gospel music all day long. You guys have a great and blessed day. This is Kate, LEK 2.5 FM. All right. And let's start the recording and get my mouse on my screen over here.